Live with Tao. A really religious person remains silent to metaphysical questions. What are the metaphysical questions? If God exists or does not exist, who created this world, who created this universe? All these are metaphysical questions. An awakened one, a Buddha, remains silent to these questions, not responding in any way, because answers to these questions cannot be given in words. For this, one has to go through a process of love, trust, deep trust, and sincerity. Then slowly and slowly, the innerness begins to blossom. And when it blossoms, a realization happens as the fragrance, beauty, and the luster surrounds a flower. The answers to these questions, whether to believe in God or not, seem to be very superficial. They seem to be like answers given to a certain questions. A religious man cannot utter such proclamations that God is. It is such a profound phenomenon, such a mysterious thing. Whether God is or not, it's a profound phenomenon, such a mysterious thing that to say anything will be profane. But our priests and philosophers and so-called learned persons keep on giving the answers as if we have experienced it, as if they have known. Knowledge is understanding that evolves from within, not that you gather from listening to what or reading. If you continue to listen, a new channel, continue to listen to the awakened ones, inner soil is prepared, it is nourished and nurtured, and when seed of awakening is sown, it blossoms, and what you call so-called, it is not the knowledge, it is the understanding that dawns from deep within as the fragrance of a flower, the luster that surrounds it, the beauty that it manifests, and the serenity that one feels in the company. It is the outcome of intuitive insights. The channel of intuition opens within, and then you can express it. Express the inner blossoming, not the answers to the questions. Many times Buddha had said, do not ask me metaphysical questions. If you ask me how, not what is God? What is universe? Instead of that, if you ask how, the answers can be given. In Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, in the beginning, Devi the consort asks Shiva certain questions. And the way she asks questions is very significant. She is sitting on the lap of Shiva with her head bent and looking at the face, the countenance of Shiva. Is she looking at the physical part of the body? No, she is looking at something that is manifesting out of his inner presence. She is lost into it. This is the state of deep love and intimacy. Deep love and an intimacy which is beyond the physical, emotional, and all the boundaries. Yet it includes everything. It is physical also, it is emotional also, it is intellectual also. And in response to the questions that Devi asked, what is this wonderful universe? What is this wonderful universe? What constitutes the seed? What is thy reality? And in each response to each question, Shiva gives a technique. Sometimes ago, many years ago, someone had asked a question. Someone had asked a question. The question was, during the act of sex or love making, does a female feel the loss of energy? This is a metaphysical question which cannot be answered. Only inner blossoming, with inner blossoming, one day the experience comes first, whether there is a loss of energy during the act of love making for a female or not. And then as the experience deepens, it becomes a realization. Such a person does not need the answer to these questions. And the awakened one does not need to answer the question, but the questions that has been asked by Devi, the consort, Shiva has not forgotten. And in response to each question that Devi had once asked him, he remembers and he creates a situation, gives a technique, creates a situation for that experience to come first, and then that becomes the realization of the consort, the realization of Devi, Shiva's consort. So too an awakened one does. And when a question is asked by one of the beloved disciples, Buddha had many monks, and his message was for all of them, but some of them were very close. Anand was very close physically. He was his elder brother, cousin. When he came to be initiated by Buddha, he asked for 3 conditions. And he said, from after initiation, I will be your disciple and I have to follow you religiously. But now I am your elder brother, I can ask you 3 boons. The first is, you will never ask me as you do to other monks to go to to the other place to spread the message. Number 2, I will sleep in the same room where you sleep. And the 3rd, you will not talk to any person without my presence. Buddha gave him that boons, and thereafter Anand became his disciple. But these 3 boons that he asked became an obstruction for his enlightenment. And when Buddha passed away, there was a congregation of the monks to decide on the Buddhist scriptures, but Anand was not allowed to come in. He was outside on the staircase, on the steps, sitting down and crying. And then, in that state of crying for 24 hours, something happened and he became enlightened. As compared, on the other hand, there was Sariputra, to whom Buddha gave the Heart Sutra. There was Mahakashyap. One day in Avantapindika, Buddha, every day the monks will gather, Buddha will come and the sermon will begin. That day he came with a flower in his hand. He remained standing. Something like that Buddha never did. But he did that day. He looked at everyone. There was questions in the minds of everyone that gathered. Mahakashyap was the one who had no question. There was simply a mysterious smile on his face, which spoke of everything, that your presence had made me a flower. Flower can manifest its beauty and fragrance, nothing else. And Buddha handed over that flower to Mahakashyap. With that, Buddha transferred the energy that he was carrying to Mahakashyap, and that was the beginning of the Buddhism in China that came to be known as Chan in the beginning. Out of that, Taoism evolved, and in Japan it became Zen. Bodhidharma followed 1000 years after Buddha. Then there was Subhuti, to whom he spoke the Diamond Sutra. And in Diamond Sutra, Subhuti asked, Master, will there be a Buddha after 500 years? Buddha responded, Subhuti, do not doubt. There will always be awakened one who can understand the intricacies of the message of the first Buddha. It's not that the message of Buddha cannot be understood now. In order to understand the message of Buddha, one has to reach to his own inner flowering. And this is what my effort is. To understand my words, I have to create all sort of situations and create the environment so that there happens an inner blossoming, and out of that inner blossoming you can understand not only the words that overflows from me, but that has overflowed and the echo of which lingers like the dissolving notes of an enchanting melody in the entire cosmos. This was Subhuti. There was another monk, Mudgalyam. He was very precious to Buddha. One day Buddha was sitting on the bank of the river. Mudgalyam came along with his disciples. He was a priest and he asked Buddha certain questions. Buddha was sitting on the bank of the river. Buddha asked Mudgalyam, if you have to cross this river to reach the other shore, what are the ways? Would you remain sitting on this shore, chanting your prayers or your psalms or your verses of scriptures, and with that you will reach to the other shore? Mudgalyam was a man of rituals. He understood this. He said, no, in order to reach to the other shore, there are certain possibilities. The first is, if the river is shallow, I can walk through the river to reach the other shore. If it is deeper, then there is a possibility, and if I know swimming, I can swim to reach to the other side. And if the river is deep, turbulent, and I do not know the swimming, but a boat is available. There is a man who is rowing the boat, and he is inviting the persons who are standing on the shore, waiting to reach to the other shore. He invites them to ride the boat that he is rowing, and he rows the boat, canoes the boat to take the others to the other side. Buddha told Mudgalyam, you have answered your questions. And at the same time, Mudgalyam bowed to Buddha and became his disciple. There were few names who were unique. Anand was very close physically, but not that of Sariputra, Mahakashyap, Mudgalyam, Subhuti. And Mahakashyap was sitting under the tree. He came with certain questions. He asked Buddha questions. Buddha remained silent. So Sariputra, who was sitting on the nearby, he said, Mahakashyap, whatever questions you have to ask now. Because this man is very deceptive. He did not answer my questions. And now that I do not have questions, all questions have dissolved. He keeps on asking me about questions. This is the way of the masters, the way of the awakened ones. They create an environment around you, fertilize the inner soil. The seed of awakening is already there. Poetically, it is said, the seed of awakening I sow. No, it is not sown. It is in the field of agriculture. We mulch the soil in order for the nourishment to mix with all. So what he does, he mulches your inner soil. This fertilizer is also there. He mulches it so that it mixes well and allows the seed that is within to start its process of blossoming. This is the way of Upanishads. Come and sit close to me. Upa means sit, ni means close, and shad is a verb that completes the 3 syllables. Come and sit near me. Out of reverence, out of gratitude, out of love, out of sincerity. There is one of the Upanishad that is known as Prashna Upanishad. Prashna means question. In that, there is a Grand Master. His name is Lord Parmeshti, the ultimate master. 6 disciples who were masters in their own field. Just as when you enter into the astrophysics or astroscience, many disciplines are needed. The chemistry, the biochemistry, the biophysics, this and all the dimensions, because a person who has to travel into the outer space, he has to know many things. So these were the disciples who were excelled in their own field: physics, chemistry, music, art, culture. They approaches, each one of them had a question. And the master told them, you have to remain around me for 1 year, doing whatever you asked to do to remain within the environment that has been created. And after 1 year, if I fail to answer your question, I will. And if I do not fail to answer your questions, I will not. This is the long tradition, the way it happens. So it is not that all the monks, there were many names. Few I have given you, they were very sincere, devoted, and put it this way, much closer there was Prasannajit, the king who came, who became his disciple. There were others, the Purna, who was so loving that he never wanted to go anywhere. One day Buddha said, now that you have attained to, and you should go, but before that you answer questions. If suppose you go to a place where people are not ready to listen to your matter, to your message, what would you do? I will consider them as ignorant, their time has not come. I will wait for the right season to come so that my message can reach them. If they abuse you, they're not listening to your message, instead they abuse you, what would you do? Purna said that what does abuse do? I will consider them as ignorant, yet innocent. They know not what they are doing. I will forgive them. And if they are not satisfied with this and they start pelting stones at you, if they had started pelting these stones at you, what would you do? They just pelt these stones, did not kill me. Their stones hit me, wounded me to some extent. Some of the stones pelted at me hit me, but it did not damage me or kill me. Then last question Buddha asked, if they somehow or the other kill you, what would you do? He said, I will consider myself to be fortunate that along the path, the life that was given to me was sacrificed. Buddha said, now that you have, you can go and share what you have learned. And he went in one of the most dangerous place in the state of Bihar, where Buddha wandered and lived most of his life to spread the message of Buddha. This is how the master proceeds and takes care of every student, every disciple that is around him. There are millions of disciples around him, but according to inner capabilities, each is taken care of. Sometimes we do feel that the master is paying more attention to him, to this person or that. This is not the question. Everyone has to look at your way of relating to the awakened one, to the master, that whatever amount of sugar you are adding to this particular cup of tea, that will give sweetness to that. There are people who like more sweetness, people who like less, who do not want any sweetness at all. So accordingly, the sweetness is added to it. So every individual that comes as a seeker from seeker, he becomes a disciple, and disciple, he becomes a devotee. Whether you are still a seeker or you have transcended to become a disciple, a state deeper than that, then have you reached the state of devotee, means you are devoted not only to him but the cause of your own inner blossoming. A flower is devoted to its own blossoming. A flower is a devotee. It is devoted to its own process of growth, transformation, inner blossoming, so that its beauty, fragrance, and luster manifest out of the flower in myriad ways, attracts those bees and butterflies to hover around it. Like the moth, they move around, they dance around a flame that is lit. So a devotee is the one who is like a moth, like a butterfly, like a bee that keeps on humming, flying around the flower or dance around the light that is lit in front of them. This is the way the process of transformation or the message of Buddhas continue. Enough for now, but the process continues until each one of those who have come attain to their inner blossoming. Enough for now.